Today we will be leaving Grand Falls, Windsor and heading back towards Port aux Basques and the boat that we will take later this evening. We had a great time here and we visited with some family and friends before leaving, as it seems like no matter how long you're visiting, you can never do all that you want to do. So we will be back. We've made a couple of stops at the Gorge Park on our way out of the town of Grand Falls, and the scenery again on this beautiful day was just amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed our time here, but like I said, never enough time to do all that you want to do while you're visiting. We've been on the road now for about an hour and passing through Green Bay. Our next stop will be in Stephenville to say goodbye to Diane's brother Thierry and then make our way onto the boat. So we just stopped in here for a little bit into Stephenville, and now we're just coming out by the crossing. And this place my wife grew up in, and this is called the Black Banks, and spent a lot of time here in her childhood. And so we're heading to the boat now, and we got about a couple hours drive after we leave here, and so just enjoying the afternoon sunshine. When my wife was growing up here, this is the trestle that they would swim in under and spend a lot of time out here just picking up clams or mussels. You can see the water is pretty high now, but it wasn't like that earlier in the week. Very sandy. We're into probably our last hour of driving on the road here on the island of Newfoundland. As you just saw, Port aux Basques is 94 kilometers away. That's where we're headed today to catch the ferry that will take us to North Sydney. About an 8-hour journey, I guess. We'll get that and leave tonight at about 12 midnight. So we got our last hour driving here on the TCH in Newfoundland, and it's a beautiful afternoon, as you can see. We're about 50 kilometers outside of Port aux Basques, and this sign here gives instructions to drivers to be mindful of moose as well as other things. And so we've been fortunate enough to travel right across the island of Newfoundland and right across Labrador as well. And we have seen 3 moose, all of which have been on the island. We've seen 2 together and then another one. So there's lots of moose in Newfoundland, but we haven't seen a lot of them. The view here is spectacular. We're probably about 20 kilometers outside of Port aux Basques, and this place is affectionately known as Wreck House. And as you can see by the mountains here, winds have been clocked here during storms of upwards of 200 kilometers an hour. And there's advisories on the highway later down that tell transport trucks and large vehicles to not travel here when high winds are present, because vehicles have toppled over. Ones like this one that's coming here now have been known to blow. So a very warning to be heeded when traveling here in large vehicles. So the Wreck House, just outside of the Corduroy Valley, or Codroy Valley. We're just entering Port aux Basques. We have been fortunate enough that we've traveled the 900 kilometers in the island of Newfoundland, really from coast to coast, and also travel the other part of Newfoundland called Labrador, from Quebec border to Quebec border. So now we're just going to Port aux Basques here to get the Nova Scotia ferry, and we will travel on the other side into what is called the mainland by a lot. We love Newfoundland and Labrador. Just having a meal in one of the local restaurants before heading to the lineup for the boat. In the lineup at the boat, just waiting for the line next to us to load, and then we'll be next in line to head aboard. I think the boat is called the Blue Petits, for a midnight sailing to North Sydney. Estimated time of arrival 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Starting to load here now. Going on the Blue Petits. Going into the same area, I think, as the transports. The gentleman right in front of me in his vehicle, he's having some issues with starting his vehicle. So I suggested that he park in a place that he can get a boost if he needs it once he gets on, and then get off the ferry. So not sure what he's going to do when he gets aboard here. We're loading on the boat now, coming on straight up. We're in our seats on the boat, and we will stay here for the rest of the sailing. Probably going to be an uncomfortable night, but usually boat travel is, especially when there's no cabins left to sleep in.